get Mary back in here and ask you, since you have met Julian Assange, and we also saw, on display the toll that this is taking on a family who is going through this prosecution, and we've heard from Stella Moris outside the court on that closing day as she articulates what's happening to Julian Assange. I think that people who are following this broadcast might appreciate sharing some of your insights and experience in being able to meet with Julian, and then to understand what this means for him and everyone involved as they go through this prosecution, and to also recognize that there is a human that's at the center of this, and that we're not just talking in the abstract about a publisher, or we're not just talking about legal issues, but that there are things very real here that are going to impact a family.
I'll just, it's been a really long battle. It's been long and exhausting 10 years for Julian. He's paid an enormous price. With Sweden behaving in the most appalling way, and the UK really egging them on and saying, don't you dare, not just egging them on, don't you dare pull out now. So all the Swedish stuff, and then it takes a very special person, I think, to be able to stay indoors in the one place for 7 years and to continue working. He's had a fantastic team, of course, around him, and that's been a huge factor. But you also have to be a very special person, and he is a very special person. So I engaged with it very early on because of the importance of what he was doing, the fact that you had this anonymous way for whistleblowers to hand on information. That was that innovation was extraordinary. So he was leading the frontier, at the frontier of the digital world, and that all came out of the community that he was part of in Melbourne as a young man. So when the whole thing started to get terribly dangerous for him, I engaged with it more and got to know his parents, his mother. Travelled with her to Canberra, travelled with her to various universities around the country, where we held, with other activists, held discussions so that people could engage with the issue, and also visited Julian on several occasions. The last time in Belmarsh, but it was actually good to hear someone talking about Asperger's, openly, because he is one of those people that are highly intelligent, extremely focused, to the exclusion of everything else almost. And that's why he's been able to survive, I think. But the point is that everyone has a breaking point, that he's human. And the fact that he can continue to be strong and focus on this case doesn't mean that if they decide in favor of extradition, and certainly if he survives long enough to head over there, that he's going to be the same Julian. And we need to make sure, we need to stop it. We need to make sure that the Julian that he is can stay intact. It's very, very important for all of us. And we're very, very fortunate to have him. Mm-hmm. When I hear Greta Thunberg talking about herself as being different, and people have a dig at her, I'm sure, her schoolmates and also journalists and politicians, like to have a go at her because she's unusual. Well, the reason they're having a go at her is because they don't like the message. but the fact is she is unusual, and Julian's, you know, similar.
Mhm.
And that and it's people like that that have enormous courage. So it's for me, it was very moving to be able to see him, which is why I wanted them to cut away more to the defendant and ask them to please do that, because if we don't see him, all we get is occasionally, well, I think twice we heard his voice and the judge putting him in his box. But it was really important for me to see him interacting with his lawyers, to see him interacting with Stella. Yeah, those precious moments where he was interacting with Stella, you know, moments that all of us live all the time. They're so rare for him, and it was very gratifying to see. Even though they were very brief, of course. So yeah, so I'm hoping that she's going to do the right thing. I'm hoping she's not going to look for an excuse to extradite him, because there's plenty there. There's plenty of ammunition there to stop her.